Rise and shine. It's time to get the day started with the morning show of record for the Homestead community. It is the Farm2Table Direct Show morning edition. Well, good morning, everyone. Hope you all had a great weekend, and hopefully you're all getting a break in the weather like we have. Good morning, Rebecca. Hope you're feeling better today. I know you weren't feeling well last night. Uh, Anyway, speaking of weather and speaking of last night, let's just head on over to Dyer Family Farm for the Redneck Weather Report.
Good morning, rednecks. It is 52 degrees. Good morning, Rooster. It's February the 3rd. Got the Roosters battling 2025. We got a warm 11 mile an hour south wind, still feeling like 52 degrees. We're going to get to 79 degrees in February. God bless y'all. We'll see you again.
Well, that's certainly right. It is a warm February the 3rd. Well, I'm glad to see, I was reading over here in the chat. I'm glad to see that Rebecca is feeling better with us today. I understand when the stomach don't feel good, uh, kind of messes everything up. And it goes back to stuff we've talked about with the gut. If the gut's bad, then man, it'll take care of everything else. But anyway, getting ready to get started as we have just finished up the Redneck Weather Report. Good morning, Robbie. Glad to see you this morning. And hey, good morning, Troy. Glad to see you in with Troy sitting with us this morning. Yeah. Let's see. Yep. See, there he is. Yep. Glad to see you all in this morning. Uh, anyway, we are going to get into today's reality smackdown. Puxatawny Phil saw his shadow, predicting 6 more weeks of winter. His wife Phyllis said from Florida he is a pathological liar. Anyway, but seriously, I did read that the couple, they are actually together. He actually has a significant other, actually has a wife, if you will. Uh, welcomed a set of new babies last March. So this is Puxatawny Phil's first Groundhog Day as a father. Yeah, so happy news for for Phil and Phyllis up there in Puxatawny. Anyway, little humor to start the day, but that doggone Joker said 6 more weeks of winter, and I'm hoping he's wrong, but we'll see. Enjoying this they're calling it fake spring. Everything's fake news, fake spring, fake winter. I don't know, fake fall. Anyway, so hard to tell what's real anymore. But meanwhile, Canada and Mexico plan to retaliate with hefty tariffs on U.S. goods after the Trump administration, after the U.S. Put 25% tariffs on them on certain goods. So we'll see how this plays out. Just kind of expect things to get a little expensive, like they weren't already. Uh, Marchers protesting planned deportations block major freeway in Los Angeles. Yeah, seen a picture of that. Quite interesting. Wonder if ICE showed up. I don't know. And finally, 14 favorite foods that might change or disappear under RFK. French fries, number one on the list. Anyway, boy, let me tell you something. Achieved that with that golden appearance. Frying oil blended fluids, something I can't even pronounce. Dimethyl yeah, that anti-foaming agent coated with dextrose, form of sugar. Critics raise concern about these editors, talking about going back to the good old tallow. Anyway, chicken sandwiches, fast food chicken sandwiches, highly appreciated. Monosodium glutamate maybe was under the gun on that one. And anyway, let's see, burger buns contain calcium proponent, a preservative extends shelf life. Else is a bunch of stuff. Let's see, sugary coffee drinks. Watch out, all of us who like our sweet drinks. Mashed potatoes and gravy, given the different caramel colorings, milkshakes, cheese bread, roast beef sandwiches, blended frozen desserts, bacon cheeseburgers, Tacos. Uh-oh, look out. Not tacos. Macaroni and cheese, cheese dip, chili cheese dogs, barbecue bacon cheeseburgers. Uh-oh. And let's see, that'll be it. That is the 14 right there. Would you believe that? Says, all right, good morning, Todd. Glad to have you listening in with us. Like I said, be safe out there today, brother. Uh, get, Getting ready to head out somewhere far, I'm sure. But I hope it's clear roads and safe driving for you, brother. But anyway, so as you can see, the foods, a lot of that's under the fast food category or things you buy off the shelf that have certain additives that may be under the gun as being bad for us. So we'll see how things happen out there. And that is today's real. Well, actually, hang on, forgot, I found another page. Following a meeting with which U.S. Secretary Marco Rubio demanded Panama President Jose Molina reduce Chinese influence over the Panama Canal. Molina said his country won't renew its Belt and Road deal with Chinese Communist Party. Victory, U.S. Yes. Investigators found conflicting altimeter readings from the control tower data of the Black Hawk military helicopter and passenger jet that collided over Washington January 29. Uh, I'm going to put this up. We're going to back up. I'm going to stop that. But do you know they put prescription drug in grated cheese? I did not know that. That is not surprising, but yeah, not shocking. Shocking, surprised. Not, yeah, none of the above, honestly. But no, I did not know that. Thanks for sharing that information. Good morning, Tracy. Glad to have you in with us here this morning on the chat. Uh, got let's see. But yeah, so no, I did not know that, Rebecca. Thank you for sharing that. I'll have to look into that one a little deeper. Um, so anyway, back to reality headlines over here. President Trump on yesterday defended his move to impose sweeping tariffs on the top three U.S. trading partners, acknowledging the actions could cause some pain for Americans in the economic fallout. And I already talked to you about the tariffs from the others, but they will introduce products like eggs. They're going to put tariffs on like eggs, meat, and poultry. And there is a full list available, but we're not going down that. Let's see. There we go. I've started grating my cheese myself instead of buying grated cheese. Probably a good call given that piece of previous information. I don't do it well when I have a kitchen. I actually do quite a bit of grated cheese, so I may have to look into that. That's kind of concerning to me. But anyway, don't need them putting anything in there that we don't need. Not that they don't already, but uh, for those who don't, just catch it. We'll put that back up. Prescription drug and grated cheese. And she said went to bat. So yeah, don't blame you there. Probably a smart call. Um, so anyway, that is today's reality smackdown. Anyway, we're going to jump into this day in history, February the 3rd. 1850. Speaking of cheese, excellent timing, I must say. World's first commercial cheese factory established in Switzerland. Thank you, Switzerland. Uh, impeccable timing, impeccable timing. Anti-caking agent on it. I want to share that. Yeah, bad habit of just reading and not sharing for everybody else. Yeah. Uh, yeah, anti-caking agent on it. So kind of puts a whole new spin on who cut the cheese, I guess. But anyway, uh, all right. 1863, Samuel Clemens first uses the pen name Mark Twain in a Virginia city newspaper, the Territorial Enterprise. Little Mark Twain, full of great quotes and sayings. 1882, circus owner P.T. Barnum buys his world famous elephant Jumbo. Here's one that we all hate and hope to see disappear. 1913, the 16th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, federal income tax ratified. Yeah, so 112 years ago they started putting the screws to us, and they ain't let up since. Supposed to have just been the top 1% when that was. Hey, back to that thing on the cheese here. The prescription is natamycin. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to natamycin. But anyway, things you learn on the Farm to Table Direct Show morning edition when the chat group gets to going. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Rebecca. Appreciate that. Anyway, let's see. Where were we at? Oh, yeah. Anyway, what was that last thing I read? Oh, yeah. Yeah. The federal income tax. Gotta love them. Anyway, that was supposed to have been the top 1%. And, well, you see how that worked out. Anyway, 1959 plane crash known as the day the music died. Kills musicians Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, J.P. Richardson, a.k.a. the Big Bopper, and a pilot near Clear Lake, Iowa. Yes, sad day, tragic day in the music world and for their families, of course. 1993, we're jumping way forward, I know, but there just wasn't a lot of great news. Anyway, federal trial of 4 police officers charged with civil rights violation. And videotaped beating of Rodney King begins in Los Angeles, California. Man, that sparked the 93 and the LA race riots, and man, that was a crazy time out there. Train 2023, most of us probably do remember this, it wasn't that long ago. Train carrying toxic chemicals, including vinyl chloride, derails in East Palestine, Ohio, starting a fire and leading to an intentional burn-off of chemicals to stop a possible explosion. And I wonder how many people got sick from that we've not heard about. But anyway, that is the day in history, and we're going to jump back onto the cheese conversation. Here we go. An antifungal medication around your eyes. Somehow or another, I just don't think that should be in cheese. Maybe it's me. Guys are making me concerned. I don't think I can go now. I'm not going to be able to go buy another bag of cheese now. It changed my whole shopping mechanism when I do buy that stuff, because it does go good on tacos and it goes good on a few other things. It's handy to have. I guess we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. But anyway, just thanks for that information. All right. Well, let's get on into today's topic. Kind of already had a subtopic going on with cheese and some of the stuff going on there, and surprise, surprise, medications being put into our foods. But anyway, and it kind of does go back to, actually, it ties right into today's title, today's topic, passive aggressive tyranny. What do we do when government agencies use their powers to keep individual entrepreneurs down using subtle techniques? And you know what? I'm going to pop off of that right there. That is actually a very good question. Wonder why antibiotics don't work for us anymore. That is 100% correct. It's many things like that, and overuse. They overprescribe, and we don't clean out our system the way we should. And yeah, if they're putting it into our food, that definitely probably has something to do with that. That's excellent point. And man, we could spend quite some time on antibiotics and why they don't work, and the medical system, as we have talked about almost all last week. So. About the health system and insurance and different things like that. But anyway, we are going to go ahead and proceed forward. Passive aggressive tyranny. This subject came to me Friday, not of my own creative genius, but from a rant from our good friend Joel Salatin, and I want to share this. I guess I could just spitball it, but I'm going to share it with y'all so that y'all can see this and y'all go along with me. We will fail you is what it's called. He just come back from an engagement, but anyway, middle-aged farmer said his 18-year-old go-getter entrepreneurial son in 2022 wanted to install a slaughterhouse. Family has a serious farming operation. Son spearheads a deer processing facility on their property. He takes in, breaks down, and packages 1,200 deer in the fall. Those deer do not need any inspection. He can do this without any government oversight. The hunters who bring in the deer do not have to submit the carcass for inspection. Processing facility need not meet any requirements. Since it is game, it is completely unregulated except for the hunting license purchased by the hunters if they aren't hunting on their own property. Meat has no refrigeration requirements, often dragged hundreds of yards through squirrel dung, sticks, and rocks on its way to the transport. Deer are often outside refrigeration for many hours until they're cooled down. Hope you all are tracking. Zero government oversight, and this meat can be eaten, fed to children, used at church dinners and neighborhood gatherings. The only stipulation is it can't be sold. It can be given, cooked, used, and fed to anyone without restriction except being sold. So this enterprising young man, called the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services Division, oversees his meat processing plants and expressed his interest moving his facility to an inspection so he can do beef, pork, and lamb for farmers who can then legally sell it to their neighbors. He's already doing more than 100,000 pounds of venison. Now, for those of you that are unaware, which I think most of our listeners are, but for those who aren't, U.S., you cannot sell a single pound of ground beef, pork chop, unless it's processed in a government-inspected facility. You can give it away, you can buy it, feed it to your children, all without inspection. You just can't sell it. So obviously, if someone bought it, that'd be an illegal sale on the black market, and yes, it does happen. The administrator of that department, and he says he has her name, but I'm not going to look it up or go give it out either. Said, see where am I at? Told this young man who was eagerly ready to comply with all license and permits to build a community avatar that there was no sense in building it. He asked why. An extremely needed business service to the local food community, and our nation is desperately short of these kinds of facilities, which, Todd, goes to our conversation last night about waiting time on processing. Anyway, her answer, you can comply with everything you ask, but we will fail you. The young man, taken back, asked why. Simple, we don't want these small plants. We don't want to mess with them. Anyway, Joel said he went on to say he's not surprised at the prejudice, but to admit it this boldly was surprising. The elitist arrogance of the government agencies, another dream destroyed by tyranny. Whenever people begin defending bureaucratic regulators, these are the stories that come to my mind. Wants to help, but the prejudice is alive. The fact that he can process 1,200 deer and go into the food chain unsold without a single government regulation, but he can't do even one cow, lamb, or pig for a farmer who wants to sell a pound is outrageous. It's not about food safety. It's about controlling the market access so the big shots don't have to suffer competition. And this is why we need a food emancipation proclamation, food freedom. If farmers and ranchers can sell uninspected meat from their livestock, do you believe hospitals would be full of sick people who ate filthy meat? Absolutely not. Food emancipation proclamation. Time for some food freedom, everybody. So now that I've blown through that, let's talk about that. Let's break that down just a little bit. Joel alluded to the fact that there is a tremendous shortage in meat processors. Whether they're USDA inspected meat processing, that's its own thing. There's two different kinds. There's uninspected facilities, non-USDA inspected facilities. Now, what that boils down to is you can raise a cow or a lamb, a pig. You can raise these animals or get a deer, harvest a deer and hunting. Take those to a processor, and they'll process it for you, put it into cuts, marked not for sale on the package, and you come pick it up and take it home. And it's for your consumption and your family, there in your apartment, and no problem. Or those who want, but if you want to sell it in any form, then you must take it to USDA inspected facility, of which those are very few and far between. Sometimes having to travel several hours to get to one, transport cattle, that type of thing. And the process to go through that inspection and have inspectors in their facilities and everything. It's not so much that it's any more or less clean with one that's not inspected. It's just the government intrusion and the headache that these processors have to go through, and regulators in and out. And if one regulator changes their mind, and Well, good, Jack. Glad to have you in there listening and working. I know this matters to you as well as others, as far as the topic of the day. Um, so, uh, there's always a need for more and more. And we hear stories of people shutting down. They just, after years of doing it, they close down, get tired. It didn't pass down the family line, whatever. Good morning, Joy. Glad to have you in this morning with us. Um, so, uh, what do they do? Well, we hear this story of here's a young man, and this could, I'm sure there's stories like this all around the U.S. because I don't think that's an isolated incident. Now, it might be odd or rare that the administrator of the state's agency boldly and openly admits it. That was quite shocking to me when I read it. Uh, but, I don't know that, most of them won't tell you that. They'll let you go ahead and go through all the process and come out and just keep finding reasons to fail you. I could see that happening. That does not surprise me. I'm like Joel. I was just shocked that it was openly admitted that way. Um, so if that's going on, I mean, if that's a common thread in these agencies, in this passive aggressive form of tyranny, because they control they're the gatekeepers. Uh, you got to go through them. You can't do it otherwise. And it does lend to the fact that they want things processed at the big facilities. They want the food all centralized. It goes to that. And it points out these things and it shows us what's there. And I just wonder, is this happening uh, in multiple states around the country, if not every state? And does that directive come from higher up, from our federal, USDA, FDA, the USDA at the higher level? Does that come from them? Is that something that's pushed down uh, from federal to state, or is that just an isolated incident? And the state of Virginia that tends to lean just a little bit to the left, in their uh, some of their facilities, given their proximity to DC. Uh, Last night in the chat, Todd from Farming Nature's Way brought up that it's like a year wait where he lives to get processing. And we had that problem for a while down here because it was just overwhelmed. But and so when you've got that kind of time, I mean, how does a guy, when you having to plan that stuff that far out, that's a lack of processing. And now he's in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure what uh, but I'm sure the requirements are stiff there too, or the people who are doing it are uh, maybe there's just not that many, and we wonder why. And then we hear stories like this where a government agency whose job should be to go and inspect a facility, tell them what the requirements are. They go inspect it. If they meet the requirements, they get their license. Uh, Not be holding on to levers of power and serving as a gatekeeper, a roadblock to entrepreneurship, uh, to pursuit of business pursuit, to serving a community a need, just because oh my goodness, that might go against the narrative, that might go against uh, the thing, just because, well, now we got to send somebody out to these facilities. Now we actually got to get up off of our duff and go do our job. We actually got to get out of the office and go out and deal with people and do our job of inspecting these facilities and making sure they're up to snuff, which, in all honesty, most of the time, I suspect, isn't exactly complicated. These people want to stay in business, the ones who want to do this. And then listen, hey, if they're not living up to the standards, if they're not keeping their facilities clean and they're not processing in a correct way, then they need to be fined or shut down. I don't want people processing things in an unsafe manner, but doggone it, it shouldn't be up to somebody to tell you you can go get all these requirements you want and it not matter because you're going to fail. It just that's just that's levers of power. That's controlling the gate, keeping the gate closed, and for the sole purpose of their narrative. Uh, wouldn't surprise me if the person ain't a vegetarian. Be honest with you. Nothing. Not sorry to all the vegetarians out there, but feel free to eat your diet. Just leave us alone with our diet. But anyway, uh, so is this common in all the agencies that they put out requirements and they just quietly fail you? Let me see. Uh, I'm going to share this. This is relative. Thank you, Tracy. She went 20 days, worked at a convenience store. They all did meat cutting. We would get insides of beef through the years. There were fewer butchers. It is hard work. It absolutely is. No doubt about it. I mean, even with with modern toolery, the saws and the different things, it is still hard work. And knowing how to cut properly. There's a meat. We have a local butcher where I live that you go in. They've got stuff done. You can buy it from him. Yeah, yeah. I said the definition of vegetarian. I know where you're going, Jack. Yes, poor hunter, bad hunter. Yeah, absolutely. That is the truth. But it is hard work, and there's two processors not very far from me. Uh, Once upon a time, one was USDA inspected, the other was not. I think they both pulled out of the program now. I'm not 100% certain, but I know at one time they had, and haven't had anything processed in a while. So, but it is hard work, and it's like a lot of other skilled trades. Uh, Here we go. Yeah, wait, wrong one. There we go. Yeah, people would buy meat, but they'd buy it. I remember back in the mid '90s. I lived out. Matter of fact, not too far from Jack. I lived out in Lawton, and there was a butcher, shop, meat shop, whatever you want to call it, local, about 2.5 blocks from my house. Uh, don't think I bought meat from the world's largest retailer or anywhere else. I went right down there. Most of the time, the day I wanted it. I didn't I didn't store freezer meat and stuff. I just go buy it from them. It was 2.5 blocks away, and it was better quality stuff. So that's the oh, I gotta love this one. Here we go. I'm part veggie. I eat plants. My steers eat grass, and I eat them. There you go. And that's the vegetarians we all love, right there. Uh, but uh, we see this, and we've got this going on. We're talking about meat today, but the lack of meat processors and why this could be. I mean, when you see this kind of just tyrannical, passive aggressive overreach, and then you go back to legislators, and you go back to things on the state levels, and how they're influenced by certain things, and like right now the raw milk fight. Um, I encourage you all, depending on where uh, which part of if wherever you're at, look into your state's laws on raw milk, and then um, places like Arkansas and Oklahoma that have legislation pending this year. Get a hold of your representatives, get a hold of your senators, let them know how you feel about it. Um, and yeah, I knew it wasn't very far, Jack. I knew it wasn't very far. Been through Duncan and that area out there, and you know that whole area in the southwest out there for a while. But anyway, it's that's the stuff that we have to be on the lookout for. And Joel made a comment that this should be shouted from the rooftops, and that's what I'm doing, making y'all aware of things going on, and how it may not be a flat out ban, but it's a passive aggressive way of uh, doing this, and we need to look into that. And keep your eyes open about this kind of stuff. And when you find stories, share them. When you hear things, share them out so we all can benefit. Because we need more people. I think butchers are kind of falling into that skilled trade that has got pushed to the side, like a lot of them have, and needs to be encouraged, and needs to be promoted as a positive. And certainly somebody that's willing to put in the work and the money and the time and the labor to open up a processing facility. Um, yeah, right, exactly. Of course, there's the uh, Todd. We call that circumvention, uh, and we appreciate it very much. Anyway, let's make raw milk real milk, just real milk, just milk again. Let's make all these things just what they are, uh, not that stuff. But anyway, that is today's topic for the day. We are up on the clock up there. I'm looking, and so we are going to move on through. Let me give out. I'm going to go ahead and give out the tip of the day. I didn't really have a food tip of the day. Let's say. Uh, Yeah, see, a process facility directly across the street from me, built new 5 to 7 years ago. It's had 4 different owners, mostly because it's hard work. Uh, let's see, follow on the rest of that. One of the owners was an investment guy. He said he just had it to turn a dollar. You're always going to have those guys around. That's a fact. That is, those people that think it looks like a profitable thing and if it just pays taxes or just breaks even, they're happy. It's a write off, whatever. And you're right, and that hurts everybody. But it is hard work, and both of the processors near me have turned hands in the last few years. So hopefully they stay at it. But yeah, they've both changed hands, so it does happen. Um, I will say this. Rebecca kind of started a serious tip of the day. Rebecca touched base on kind of hit it this morning about things in our food that we need to be aware of. That like medications or things that may be put into foods. Do our homework on the labels. Do our homework on stuff that's in there, so we know what we're putting into our bodies. Now, for the fun tip of the day, and serious at the same time. I felt this was a good tip. In life, be decisive. The world is filled with black squirrels that couldn't make a decision. So there you go. Tip of the day. Be decisive. So let's move on into upcoming events. February 15th, Southwest Arkansas Homesteading Conference in Nashville, Arkansas. That's put on by 2 different counties. The University of Arkansas Ag Extension putting that on down in Nashville. You can find, if you'll search Southwest Arkansas Homesteading Conference, you can find the information on that if it's something somebody may be interested in. February 21st, 22nd, Homesteaders of Iowa Expo 2025, Bridgeview Center, Ottumwa, Iowa. Monty Shrunk, our friend from the Suburban Sodbuster, will be there. March 1st, 8:15 to 4, Boston Mountain Homesteading Workshop, Chester, Arkansas. That one's in my backyard right down the road. Um, March 21st and 22nd, just a few short days away, Okie Homesteading Expo, Mays County Fairground, Pryor, Oklahoma. Tickets are on sale now. $50 2-day pass, 17 and under are free. Uh, wow, it's going to be a gathering of the Sunday night hangout and several more people there that weekend. It's going to be a great turnout. Looking forward to it, and it is coming fast. All right. Arkansas Homesteading Conference, March 29th. So the weekend after Okie Homestead Expo, the Arkansas Homesteading Conference, Cleveland County Fairgrounds, Rising, Arkansas. $20 for adults, 17 under free. Let me see, that's a small one, but it's growing and hopefully gets bigger. The Shindig Ozark Living Expo, April 25th and 26th, Newton County Fair and Rodeo, Jasper, Arkansas. Homestead Festival at Hardison Mills near Columbia, Tennessee, June 6th and 7th. $75 general admission. Kids 6 to 17 are $25. That is a monster big one down in Tennessee at Roy Feek's Ranch Farm, whatever you want to call it. Taking a little break through the summer, but then picking up September 5th and 6th. Ozark Homestead Expo, Marshville, Missouri. General admission, $50 2-day pass. Kids 13 to 17, $15. And kids 12 and under free, but must have a ticket. Uh, And then our Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous in McAllister, Oklahoma, September 26th to 27th. Tickets are $15 at the door. Go on to Facebook at Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, or you can get them at oklahomahomesteadrendezvous.org. And check that out. That is something that's near and dear to several of our hearts as we've worked on it and help shape where that's going. Anyway, and October 10th and 11th, Homesteaders of America Conference in Front Royal, Virginia. Tickets on sale now, $50 for day pass. They have been selling out rather quickly, so if you're interested in that one, I suggest you get on that one rather quick. And that wraps up the upcoming events. And folks, that is a wrap for today on the Farm2Table Direct Show Morning Edition. Thanks for joining me as we explore headlines and stories impacting our world now and in the future. Stories relevant like this that Joel shares. I've got several. I encourage you get onto his blog, Musings of a Lunatic Farmer, or his podcast, Beyond Labels. Find these things that you can sign up for resources. And I could go. I'll have to do a whole list of that too, just places I can get information from. But anyway, if you enjoyed today's show, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and please subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. That is the Farm, the Farm2Table Direct Show. You can find us on all of those. Anyway, it is the best way to stay connected and help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community. So, guys, thanks for joining in this morning. Thanks for the chat. It was great. And until next time, keep your roots deep and your vision growing. Good food starts with great people. And remember, we are #stronger together. My morning crew, good to see you all today. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. And then tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, Keith and I will be on with our regular weekly Tuesday as we continue down the food. Let's see, what was it? Our self-reliance scale and what our plans are on that. And I'm sure we'll have some other topics around that as well. So look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night as well at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Anyway, be a blessing to someone today, and we will see you all on the other side. And I'm going to hand this on over to Hank. Take us out.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.